Good to be back in the house of the Lord again.
Amen.
I always feel a little better once you come up in here. Good to be with those. You have your Bibles, open them up to Matthew chapter 18. Y'all can stay seated because I'm just going to read you a little story and then we're going to talk about it for a little bit.
Amen.
18. In Matthew 18, starting in verse 21, it reads this. It says, Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, who would take account of his servants, and when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. But for so much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. And the servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Then the Lord of that servant was moved to compassion, and loosened him, and forgave him the debt. Let's pray. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, That's basically what Christianity boils down to right here, is that we are the servants of the Most High, and we have come up with this massive debt that we can't repay. The sins that we've done wrong, the lives we've led, all the mercy that God has showed us is a massive debt that we cannot repay, but we plead with the Lord. We fall down on the altar, we pray, and we say, Lord, forgive us, but and we'll try to repay it, we'll do better, you know, the standard pleadings that people make, but when they finally truly open their heart to Him, the Lord sees compassion, like it says in the book of Psalms, says, the Lord pitieth us as Father pitieth the Son, for He remembers our frame that we are but dust. And the Lord takes pity on us. And He forgives us this massive debt that we could not repay if we wanted to. He just forgives it. But see, there's more to this story. When this servant was forgiven, what did he do? He went out and he saw a fellow servant that owed him just a little bit. And he throttled him. He whipped him. Told him, said, you're going to pay me. And he said, have mercy on me. I have not the money. I'll pay you back. And he said, nope. And he beat him and he threw him into jail until the debt could be repaid. Now that's a good little turnaround, ain't it? You just got forgiven all this, and yet you're not going to forgive somebody this minor little thing against you. You have been forgiven the ultimate crimes, and because somebody insulted you 10 years ago. This is the problem with a lot of Christians today. Now, I know that we all need things from the Lord. So we need healings. We need savings. I've got lost loved ones. I got a bunch of lost loved ones I want to get saved. Said, family and other. And said, I know I've got sickness in my family. I know that Joe's got issues. I know Daryl's got issues. And Abigail's got issues. We all got issues, and we got things we got. Now, this ain't being directed towards any single one of you. But I just want y'all to know this. I'm not talking about you pointing fingers right back at myself here, because this is where I get this from. It said, God forgave me all these things. Josh, look at your life and look at all these things that you've done. And I could write a book on the things I've done, but that's an old dead man. We ain't worried about him. But you could write a book on it, and he forgave you all these things. And yet you're still mad at this dude who insulted you in high school. Yeah. One of the first things that happened, now, my grandmother, my father's side, my dad's mom, she's now dead, and I preached her funeral. But when I first got saved, now I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't like this woman. Me and her didn't get along. hated her, called her names, like old battle axe and things like that. I mean, we fought. Said I didn't like her. She knew I didn't like her. But one of the first things the Lord did when I got saved, He said, okay, you're one of mine. I'm like, yes, I am. He said, prove it. And what did He do? He sent me to her. And I had to tell that woman I loved her. And I had to pray with her. Now, the reason why I think she went to heaven, this was right before she died. And later on that day, I said, she never told me, but she told someone else that I had come and prayed with her and that she had gotten saved.
Amen.
And see, I didn't know that until after the funeral. But the first thing God did was send me to them. And why is it? He said, because I forgive you, you can't hold these grudges.
Yes, amen.
And yet we want to hold on to them. Oh, boys, the people that done us wrong said, oh, the Lord is good. He forgave me my sins. We're all happy. I want to go to church. What about so-and-so? Oh, I hate them. How many times have you heard a Christian utter the words hate? I mean, I've heard it a lot, haven't you? I've actually heard Christian, I hate this person. I hate them. Doesn't even have to be somebody they met. I mean, we got elected officials, but oh man, we got a lot of people that hate our current president, but we had a lot of good Christians who would talk about our last ones. I hate that person. You know, every person who had ever served in office, any person who's ever served in part of authority had gotten there because God allowed them to, and we are supposed to pray for them. You're supposed to pray for them, for their well-being. Oh, that makes the little things Christians do a little harder, doesn't it? Because we can't forgive them because we just don't agree with what they do. Doesn't matter. The Christian life boils down simply to forgiveness. I mean, you can go all the way back. The whole book is about forgiveness. From the very beginning in Genesis. When we go into Genesis and the snake comes and the servant of Satan and talks these people into eating an apple. Or fig, or whatever that tree was, and he talks them into eating it. God comes down knowing full well what they have done, and the first question out of his mouth is, Adam, Adam, wherefore art thou? He knew where Adam was. He wanted him to come forward of his own volition. He didn't want to force him. See, that's how Christianity works. God doesn't want to force you out of the shadows. He doesn't want to force you onto the altar. He doesn't want to force a confession from you. He wants you to, he asked that question because he wanted Adam to know, Adam, I'm looking for you. I love you. Where are you at? Come tell me. And when Adam came, he said, why was you hiding? And when Adam confessed, he said, I heard you in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked. And he said, who told you you was naked? He was asking the question. He knew how they knew, but he was asking the question so that they would confess so he could forgive them.
Yes, amen.
The whole thing, God wanted to forgive them from the start. I know what you did wrong, but I want to forgive you. Just tell me what you did. God's never going to force it. And that's how Christianity works, is because he doesn't want to force it. He's asking them, when they feel that little pleading on their heart, so maybe I want to go to church. That's God pleading, where are you? And he wants them to come in and he wants to forgive them. But the human side of this is, first of all, we fight the forgiveness. Adam, well, who told you naked? Well, you see that woman you gave me? And the woman blamed the snake, and the snake didn't have a leg to stand on. So we reject it. But when we do accept it, when we finally accept it into our hearts, the very first thing we do is bask in the glory of God and say, yea, we're forgiven, and then go on and hating the people we hate. We hate them. Despise them. Oh, I don't want to pray for them. Don't send me. Said, Lord, send me. I'm here. I'm ready to work. But not to that person. Like Mom said earlier today and during her Sunday school lesson, she said she saw a preacher. She saw a different side of his life. And, somebody's always watching. And said, no, Joe's told a testimony before about a man who was sitting at a funeral. And I think it was the guy that done that said he will hate that man until he dies over a nickel bar of candy. In the grander scheme of things, what are our grudges? What are those things? I want you to picture somebody that you despise, that you don't like. I ain't going to use that word hate because it's not in our vocabulary. God tells us to love them, so we don't always have to like them. So just imagine somebody that you're not liking. Imagine somebody that you don't get along with, and imagine right now, think about it. What is your quarrel with these people? What is the quarrel? What is it that is dividing you from them? Why is it that you want to say that word hate? What is it? Now, think about what you have done against God. Let's break it down on the Ten Commandments. Everything from thou shalt have no other God before me. Have you ever put anything before God and decided, well, this is more important right now? Church is good, but this is more important. That's one. You just put something before God. You made that your God, even if only temporarily. Thou shalt not kill. Well, Josh, I've never stuck a knife in nobody. I've never shot nobody. Jesus said, you've heard it said that thou shalt not commit murder. But if you've hated your brother without cause, you have committed murder. See, that right there is why that hate is such a strong word. Because you're killing someone. In the eyes of God, you've murdered them over and over. Every time you utter that word, I hate them. That makes you an idolater, a murderer. Thou shalt not lie. A little white lie won't hurt. No, that haircut looks great. Love the new car. No, that dress does not make you look fat. It's a little white lie. It's a lie. It's best just to nod. That's 3. Thou shalt honor thy mother and thy father. Well, I love my mom and dad, and I try to do what they tell me to do, but there's times when I don't honor them. There's times when I'm downright ornery to them. I ain't the only one, That's 4. Now, I can go on and on this list.
Mom loves you anyway, though.
So thou shalt not commit adultery. Any guy right here can know that eventually at one point in his life, he looked at a woman walk down the street and thought, well, guess what? You just committed adultery in your heart. That's another one. And these ain't crimes against a person. I have in no way committed a crime against a person on these things. But by breaking these laws, I have committed crimes against the most holy God. The creator of the universe, I have committed crimes against him. And yet, out of his love and mercy, he's forgiven me. He sent his only begotten son that he should die in my place because I deserve death, but I'm not going to get it because his son died for me. And yet, I hate somebody because they recorded over my favorite TV show. If even just for a moment you hate it. The point I'm trying to get across is we have to eliminate the word hate. Because if you start believing, well, I hate them. Oh, it's just a passing thing. When, you repeat something enough, just enough. It doesn't even have to mean, if you repeat something enough, you start to believe it yourself, and you will start to believe, well, I actually do hate this person, and then you're actually going to start hating that person, and then you have committed murder. And then when you go to the grave, and the Lord turns you away, and, well, I've done everything right. Well, you've done this, you've done that, you've done this, but you hated this person without cause. What gives you cause to hate somebody? Now that's what I want to get into. Without cause. You've hated them you've hated your brother without cause. Well, what cause do you have that would allow you to hate your brother? Do you know what that cause is? Nothing. To the very point that the people in the Middle East are killing Christians. Well, the Bible says I'm not to hate my brother without cause, but I can hate those ISIS members. Well, guess what? No, you can't. Those are the sons of Ishmael. Jacob had the children of Israel. Ishmael had his own tribes. They branched off, and they became what is now the Muslim people. They were misguided. They were taken away. Well, what does that matter to us? Well, that matters because we were adopted into that family. The sons of Jacob, Israel, that's your brothers. The sons of Muhammad, the false god as they call themselves, said those are your misguided brothers. You know, the black sheep of the family. They're a little crazy, but you still have to love them. Even to that point that you still have to love those people. So if they are out there killing and you still got to love them, they're sawing people's heads off, but you still got to love them. You got to pray for their well-being. Yeah. Well, what about those who are not in the family? They're not Christian, they're not in the Jews, and they're not in the Muslims, so they're not in the adopted family. People will try to use this. Well, guess what? Date yourself back long enough and we all find a common ancestry. But aside from that, even then, Jesus told them, bless those who hate you. Pray for those who persecute you. Our job is made pretty simple. To love the unlovable. Why must you love the unlovable? Because before you loved the unlovable, God loved the unlovable, which was you. Because I'm telling you, I was ornery back in the day. Part of my testimony, I was ornery. I was a mean old thing. Couldn't come out the room, couldn't conversate, couldn't talk to people, blow up, ready to flip tables at any given time, scream, holler, throw stuff, threaten to throw people out of a moving car. Heather, a few times. Tried once. I was not a good person. I was not easily loved. Trust me, there were times I'm pretty sure my mom wanted to beat me to death in my sleep with a stick. If not, just to knock some sense into me. But what overcame me was not them hating me back. It was not them hating me. What overcame me and brought me in was love. The love of God. To live as a Christian, the only way to live is through love. Well, how do I do that? By accepting Jesus into your heart, you first accept all his ways. He will live there. He will guide you. He will strengthen you. He will take you through the Holy Spirit, seal you to God, and show you the path in which you must walk. And through this love is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Because the worst thing I could never understand, I said, I put so much hatred into this person, and I put so much anger, and yet they loved me back. And I'm like, why? Why? And I got curious about it. Curiosity opened up doors, and I started finding things out. Boom. Eventually it led me here. See, we conquer this world in the most unconventional ways, through love. As Christians, we must stricken hate from our vocabulary entirely. We must love. We must love because it's the only way we're going to win. It's the only way we're going to bring people in. It's the only way that we will have them on that altar is by showing them that despite, because many people who do not come to church, many people who are out there in the world and who are lost, who want to be saved, cannot come into the church of their own volition because the devil has them convinced that God doesn't love you anymore. How many people when you were lost? I don't know. We got lifetime Christians up in here, I know. But back in the day, for those who were lost, had uttered the words that I just know God hates me now. God must hate me because my life is miserable. Well, I know I uttered them words. Had a car break down right in the middle of the road, and I said, oh, God just hates me. And then this is what the devil has convinced. The devil has these people convinced that God hates you. God doesn't hate you. He might not be very fond of your sin. Matter of fact, he downright hates your sin. But you the person he formed in the womb. He knew your name before the world even knew you was coming. He had ideas and plots and plans. Romans 8:29, my favorite Bible verse says, for those he foreknew, he knew you before you were ever born. He said, those he foreknew, he predestined to be made into the image of his son, that they might be the first amongst the new brothers. I'm going to use you to touch lives. And he knew this before the day you were even conceived. He loved you from that point. But the devil's got them convinced that love is not for them, that God hates them. No, God hates the sin. He hates the evil and the wicked and the darkness within. He doesn't hate the homosexual. He hates the thing that they do. He doesn't hate the robber. He hates the crimes they commit. He doesn't hate the adulterer. He hates the adultery. He does not hate anybody. He hates the sin. And the devil's got them convinced it's the other way around. And then the Christian is of absolutely no help. When the devil is beating you down and saying, God hates you, and then a Christian comes and turns their nose up and I am not talking to you, I hate you. Boy, we just drive the devil's message home. Amen. It's the reason why we we have to pray. Pray more. And I know I need this because I have that look. I'm told I have this look at the library. When these frustrating people come in, and this is something I'm working on, that I have this look like sheer hatred shooting from my eyes or something. I'm like, that should never come across. No point in my life should I ever have that look. And in truth, I mean, it might look like that, and I'm praying God change that, but it's not. I'm trying to figure this person out, and this is just my what face, Yeah. But still, I mean, if at any point in my life it comes out as hatred, the Lord needs to help me change that. Yeah. Because I'm sending the wrong message. And if I ever get to some point where I cannot control my anger and I blow up people, I need God to help me fix that. Because this is not how. Paul had possibly the greatest reason to be angry with people and to hate people. Paul had it rough. In so many shipwrecks, beaten so many times, to imprisoned countless. And so there was one time they beat him and they stoned him to the point of death, and God's like, nope, you're going back. They threw him out the city. He just woke up, walked back in the city, and preached to them again. Did his message change? Nope. Not one iota did it change. God is love. Come to the Lord, for God so loved the world. Never changed a bit to the people that stoned him. If anybody had cause to hate people, Jesus had cause to hate them. For he was the King of kings. He was the Lord of lords. He still is. Don't get that was. He is all these things. And he came down to show people a better way. And he come to show them love and compassion. And what they do, they whipped him, they plucked his beard, they put a crown of thorns so deep in him that it scratched his skull, and they nailed him to a couple of 2x4s. Said if anybody, and what did he do upon that cross? Did he curse them? No. Did he call down a legion of angels? That's 6,500 angels. It took 2 to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. 7 are going to pour out the massive plagues on the world that's going to destroy this world. Imagine what 6,500 angels could have done when he could have called down a legion, but not just a legion, 12 legions. And that's a lot of angels that he could have called down. But did he do that? No. He hung on the cross and he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive. Ooh. For the man, the Son of God hanging on the cross, forgive them. They've whipped me. They've crowned me with thorns, and they've put nails in my arms. But forgive them. For they know not what they do. Stephen, the first martyr of our cause, the first martyr of the Christian people, when they took him out and he was giving them the gospel of Christ and they just didn't want to hear him, that Paul held the coats as they took and stoned him. When the first rock hit him, what did he say? Did he say, God, bring lightning down on these people, rain fire down, like the apostles wanted to before Jesus came? Now, with a new outlook, he said, Lord, hold this and sin not on their account. Said, Lord, don't fault them for this. Forgive them. I would think it would be awful hard to say forgive somebody that's throwing a rock at my head. It's hard enough forgiving one when they're throwing a rock just to be mean to you, let alone when they're throwing rocks to kill you. And yet, Lord, hold this not on their account. And yet, we get upset and hate somebody that we've not even seen because they cut us off in traffic. Now don't tell me I'm the only one that gets that high voice and starts screaming because somebody veered off in front of me. I know we all like to put forth that image. I know I like to put forth that image, and I'm just that guy. I'll pull up, oh, Lord bless him. No, I'm the guy screaming, ready to throw my shoe at him. And I'm not the only one. And that anger and that hatred, because it just boils up, I start, just being angry with them. But I let that anger hold on to the point that I hate that person. Well, who person? That guy that cut me off. Who was it? I don't know, but I hate him. I'm hating people I don't know. And this is what it goes. We have to strive. We have to strive to get hate out of our vocabulary. You are a Christian. You are not allowed to hate. Amen. Well, how can you say that you're definitely not allowed to? This final commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you. That was Jesus said that. He commanded it. This final commandment. That was not a suggestion in the suggestion box. That was not a, hey, consider this, guys, that you might want to. No, he said this commandment. This is a command from a king. It's not a pretty little thing to just potentially change your life. He said, no, this is what you're going to do. This I command you, that you love one another as I have loved you. And how much did he love us? Well, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And when we get that mentality, and when we get that love, and we can actually show it forth and let go of the anger, we can get that Bobby Bowling mentality. When somebody cuts you off, bless them, Lord. You might say it a little grouchy and a little loud, but if you can just get yourself to saying it, bless them, Lord. Amen. We'll break through and we'll start to touch lives. We'll start to touch lives. And we'll get the people in here. And then when we let go of the anger, we let go of the hate, and we kick the old devil out, then the Lord can move in us. Because the Lord can't move in you. He cannot be where sin is. Well, where is there sin in my life? I'm a good Christian because you hate. And if you hate, you committed murder, and murder is a sin. We got to let it go. Now again, I'm not preaching to any of y'all. I'm preaching to me because I have some hate issues. I ain't perfect. I've been trying to let them go. That anger. Start thinking back about, this is how bad it is. The devil reminds me of things that happened in grade school. My old grade school bully. And I'm sitting there going, I hate him. No, I can't hate him. I'd like to see him again and shake his hand. And tell him God loves you. Because if I can do that, because the first person he sent me to was somebody I claimed forever that I hated, and God said, you ain't allowed to hate him no more, go to him. Yep. He didn't give me a choice. He told me, you going to him. You working for me, you're going to him. Where it be, if it be at school, if it be at work, if it be our neighbors, and this is what I preach to Dad about all the time, and I'm going to go ahead and give a story. Dad is having a little bit of a hate issue right now with our neighbors simply because of my lost little dog. We miss that little thing. We do. But their dog kind of killed him. And Dad said, I'll hate those people forever. And I said, Dad, I love my dog. I really did. Wolf was a great little dog. He said, I think he was a gift from God because he was possibly the best behaved little thing ever. And I said, but I loved him. I said, but I'm not going to hell over a dog. Amen. I said, forgive him, let it go. So we can't change it anyway. Can't bring Wolf back. I said, but I'm not going to hell over a dog. And I don't want to go to hell over hating somebody over a slice of pizza cut off in traffic or a fender bender. Right. I don't want to go to hell over angry words that were spoken one time when tempers flare. I don't want to go to hell, period. I don't want to hate nobody. I don't want nobody else to go to hell because my hate, if I hate somebody, it's going to breed more hate. because the children watch it. If we get angry, you ever notice where you little even teenagers, you guys don't think you're that impressionable, but you are. If the parent hates somebody and they're angry with them, then the kids will be the same way and they'll go off and talk. Well, we don't like those people. Why not? Well, I don't know. And it breeds unconditional hate. So they don't know why they hate them, just that we do. What kind of message is that to the younger generation? All this for this. We were forgiven a massive debt. One bigger than any other thing on this world. It's bigger than our pride. It's bigger than $40 that was taken because I took somebody home and they got me stuck in a ditch. Yeah, that's a true story. I mean, that boy had a falling out over $40. And I want to see that boy to this day so I can apologize to him over that falling out. Lord knows my intentions, and maybe one day I'll actually get to see him again should I ever find him. But it's bigger than $40. He forgave me crimes against the crown.
Yeah.
Crimes punishable by death. Not crimes punishable by broken friendship. And yet, I want to hold on to my own meaningless little things? No. In the grander scheme of things, it's pointless.
Amen.
Paul said it about the sufferings of this world, but it makes sense about everything else. It's your squabbles are not worthy in comparison to the glory of God that shall be revealed, because He has forgiven you of that.
Amen.
So forgive. Strike hatred out. Love. What did He say about husbands and wives? His husbands, love your wives as you love yourself. What did He say the greatest commandment was? Love God above all else with all your mind, all your soul, and all your spirit. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. I don't know about you, I'm kind of fond of myself. I like to take care of myself, so if I'm going to do that with neighbors and wives and all that, I said, I need to take care of y'all like I want to take care of myself. And I'm fond of myself, so I should treat y'all the same way. Strike hatred out. We are loving people. With that ends my thought. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Joe, you got anything you like to add to it? It's you, Darren.
No, man, perfect.
Yeah, in that case, Richard, you want to come up here and get us a song? Y'all just find your place.